I would say the biggest blind spot is not being able to roll it out in a managed, structured way. So if it just appears and it's there to be leveraged, we've sort of got shadow AI, which is not what we want. We want to make sure that we roll out in a structured way. We want to make sure that people understand the functionality, they're trained, upskilled, and able to leverage and really integrate that into their day-to-day working and system processes. So we align our IT strategy with a business strategy. So, we're trying to deliver on those business outcomes, those strategic business decisions and strategy that we're working towards. But it's trying to show the value that we create. You mentioned some of the savings that we've seen or made. So I try and position that, from efficiencies that we bring, whether that's new technology, taking away manual, paper-based, double entry, lots of disparate systems to one. I try and show the value that creates and brings the business there. And we might save thousands of TASI minutes a day or thousands of TASI dollars a day, and just share that with the business to show the value that the IT really bring.
Hi everyone, we're here today with a very special episode of Manufacturing the Future. I'm one of your hosts, Lisa Bounds, and I'm also a principal product marketer here at Epicor. I'm super excited today to be speaking with Daniel Topp, VP of IT at TASI Measurement, a 1,000 plus employee global industrial measurement holding company headquartered in Lago, Florida. Daniel took on the VP role in January 2024 after serving 3 years as the global director of ERP at TASI Group, and he's been an Epicor customer since 2016. What makes Daniel's story especially interesting is that he's a rare two-time Epicor Award winner across 2 different companies, nearly a decade apart. He first won with TechNX in 2016 and then led TASI's 2025 Manufacturing Innovation Champion win, delivering a 40% inventory reduction, compressing AR cycles from 22 days down to just 2, and generating more than $300,000 in savings. Daniel's role today is one many CIOs would find incredibly complex. TASI Group operates with 16 autonomous business units in a highly decentralized structure, and Daniel leads the migration of newly acquired businesses strategically and, as he describes it, at the optimal time. A timing discipline I'm looking forward into exploring today. He's also been very vocal about the importance of standardization across acquired businesses and what he calls gold standards, balancing consistency with customization, positioning IT as a strategic partner instead of a cost center, and applying lean principles to IT operations. And alongside all of that, he's been investing heavily in executive-level AI literacy through programs at both London Business School and Wharton. Daniel, it's really great to have you here again at Insights this year, and thank you for joining me today on Manufacturing the Future.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. And are you ready to dive in?
I am indeed, yes.
Okay.
Let's go.
So, your very first question, right out of the gate, I'm going to ask you, what's the one thing that manufacturers still get wrong every single time they roll out a new ERP system?
I'd say one thing that I see that's quite common would be the change management piece. Quite often, it's a business will look at the project as either a technology or an IT project, whereas it should be viewed as a business transformation project. We need to bring everyone on the journey with us, all employees. So I've seen the best projects fall over at like the training stage is a good example. If you get that wrong, the best of projects cannot go to plan.
So it doesn't just set over here with tech.
Exactly.
So custom versus off the shelf, what's the strongest case for staying as close to off the shelf ERP as possible, even when leadership wants customization?
I would say upgradability and speed. If you want to leverage the latest and greatest functionality, we're in an ERP platform like Epicor. You want to be in one of their SaaS environments. And if you're heavily customized, it just makes those upgrades so much more challenging and costly. So we like to be as vanilla or off the shelf as possible, so that those upgrades we can manage in a timely fashion and make sure we adopt all that great new functionality that Epicor is releasing.
So how do you combat that when you're faced with leadership that's really tied to one of those customizations? How do you get them to see that value in what you're referencing?
Yeah, I think for us, we're in a very good position where we've sort of sold the vision and where we want to be, the strategy. We want to be able to adopt those latest versions, that new functionality, and we've got full commitment and buy-in from our leadership team to be as vanilla as possible. We actually have a change approval process for customizations that involves really key stakeholders. So any customization needs approval from our leadership team. So that said, we're quite minimal on customizations.
I love that. So essentially, present your case for this.
Yes.
Love
yes.
that.
Why can you not be standard? Why are you unique in a certain way? And don't get me wrong, we'll allow flexibility if it's really, really needed. But if we can be off the shelf, we definitely will be.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So when a global manufacturer is acquiring multiple businesses at once, how do you decide which integrations go first and which ones wait?
To a certain degree, we have a playbook, I would call it, for like a first, 30, 60, 90 day of what IT looks like when we integrate a business. You can imagine that we want to do things like IT security tools. We don't want all of our 17 operating companies having different IT security tools. So we've got certain things that are just non-negotiable. We will be doing this and integrating that business in. Applications and ERP is a little bit different. We'll look at risk and value, and we'll do like a heat map, a traffic light system. So we'll assess the risk and value, and then we'll put a priority list together of how we tackle those integrations.
And so that kind of leads me into my next question. When it comes to standardization, there's a bit of a paradox. How does a decentralized manufacturer with autonomous business units actually align on a single ERP standard?
That's a great question. So I think for us, we do like to be, I'd say, common where possible and unique where necessary, I think is how I would frame it. So if we do have that center of excellence, we do try and create those gold standards for our businesses to adopt. We like to store knowledge in our subject matter experts that can be, leveraged by all our new businesses and employees from around the globe. So I think when standard works, that's fantastic and it can be leveraged, but we do allow that flexibility as well. So I think we're a bit of a hybrid there. Standard where possible, but then, unique.
So what is the manufacturing IT leader's biggest blind spot when AI starts arriving inside their ERP system? Obviously, this is a very hot topic right now.
I would say the biggest blind spot is not being able to roll it out in a managed, structured way. So if it just appears and it's there to be leveraged, we've sort of got shadow AI, which is not what we want. At TASI, we want to make sure that we roll out in a structured way. We want to make sure that people understand the functionality, they're trained, upskilled, and able to leverage and really integrate that into their day-to-day working and system processes. So I think having it there but not managed it could be a real challenge and a real problem.
That makes sense. What actually has to change for IT to truly become a strategic partner instead of a cost center?
At TASI, I try and position IT as a partner to the business. So we align our IT strategy with a business strategy. So, we're trying to deliver on those business outcomes, those strategic business decisions and strategy that we're working towards. So I think, it's trying to show the value that we create. I think at the start, you mentioned some of the savings that we've seen or made. So I try and position that, from efficiencies that we bring, whether that's new technology, taking away manual, paper-based, double entry, lots of disparate systems to one. I try and show the value that creates and brings the business there. And we might save thousands of TASI minutes a day or thousands of TASI dollars a day, and just share that with the business to show the value that the IT really bring.
Look at how these things are interconnected. It's that cross-functional collaboration piece. Like, these things work together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
One feeds the other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So, when a leader runs their second or third ERP transformation, what's the hardest lesson that only sticks the second time around?
I think what becomes front of mind there, what leaps out to me is trying to make certain decisions early in the project. And I give some examples there, like, changing something like a chart of accounts. You may say, "You're a great opportunity to do this. We want to change his part numbers, change his chart of accounts." And it is a great opportunity to do that, but just make sure you do that and lock it in early, because those two variables have got the potential to really change a timeline. have lots of time to the end of a project. So I think locking in certain key strategic decisions early in the process is something that should not be underestimated. And I think the last one I'd say there is probably data migration, making sure that you've got a tried and tested team to do the data migration. There's such a learning curve involved. Understanding Epicor, the tables, the schema, the fields, what's involved in migrating from legacy systems to Epicor. You may think you can go from business to business and using different people. I would say get a tried and tested, repeatable, scalable process, and that's really key.
When you approach those data migrations, do you tend to, look at a full scale project all at once, or small pieces at a time, like piloted pieces, like one piece of technology at a time? Like, what's your general approach?
I think we've definitely learned from the process. I think we've improved, and I'd say implementing ERP now is getting to be a core competency, I'd say, for TASI IT. But in terms of data migration, we've got quite a skilled internal team now that that is their sole responsibility, is data migration. So when we bring on a new acquisition or an existing opco that we've got that we're bringing to Epicor, that team will be responsible for handling, taking the data from the legacy systems and migrating it into Epicor. So there's no learning curve for a new employee at one of those opcos. We just handle that at sort of the TASI headquarter level, so that it's a repeatable, scalable process.
So, in closing, what's been your favorite thing about Insights, and how many times have you actually attended?
I think this is my 5th,
Okay.
maybe 6th.
On SNL, they call that like the 5 Timers Club. You usually get like a special jacket. Yeah.
I'll go look for my.
Do you know what? I'll have to talk to Betica about that. We'll see if we can get special jackets.
Is that like when you win the Masters and you get the green jacket?
Yes. That's what we need to work on. See what I can do.
Yeah, I think I've been to Nashville 3 times, and I think Vegas twice. So 5, I think. Favorite thing, I just loved the keynote today with Steve. Just showing like the vision and the strategy around the AI piece and the roadmap. And I couldn't agree more with him. I think AI in ERP really could move the needle. It's so exciting. It's where you've got all your critical business data. It's structured, it's got the guardrails, it's got the opportunity to really move the needle and make the biggest impact. So I'm super excited about what I've seen today in the keynote. And I'm just thinking, how can I apply this to TASI, and how can I take this back, and what's our next step with AI?
How can I leverage this? What's next?
Yes.
Love that. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about just data's been the hot topic in all the conversations. It's like you hear a lot about AI as you're moving into different sessions today, but like I would say that it's almost, I can't decide if the bigger topic is data or the bigger topic is AI. I feel like they're kind of neck and neck, and it makes sense because they go hand in hand to, mix all the different metaphors together. So, and it all feeds back into what we're wanting to build, because you have to have the clean data for it all to work together.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's very exciting times.
It is. It certainly is.
Well, Daniel, I have to tell you, thank you again so much for joining us on our very special Manufacturing the Future live from the Insights floor. We were so excited to have you here, and we really appreciate your perspective on, all things manufacturing related and insights related, especially with you being a 5-timer. Like, you know the real deal. And I want to thank you so much, and thank you everyone for watching, and be sure to subscribe for future episodes.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.